What's up, you guys, and welcome back to another video. As you can see by the title, yes, we back with another Larry Bird reaction video. This video is titled "The Best Larry Bird Underdog Story Ever Told." Now, based off my conversations I have with people, and I be chopping up with you guys down in the comments, you guys be letting me know, I feel that Larry Bird is very underrated. So this video can be, I feel like it could be, a potential ploy to show us why he's not overrated. You know what I mean? So I'm assuming that it's gonna kind of show his backstory of how he came to be who he is. So that right there alone deserves a thumbs up, man. On top of the Larry Bird marathon that I've been bombarding you guys with. But you know how we do over here, man. I ain't gonna talk you out of death. But before we get into this video, man, make sure you do me a big favor, like always. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you subscribe. Let's get into the video.
It was a rivalry.
My bad. And by the way, I just literally got off work. Like, I'm talking about literally just got off work.
It's even bigger than Celtics versus Lakers, and even more intense.
But I gotta keep these videos coming for you guys, man. So
bet you would believe me. But for 3 years in a row, the Eastern Conference Finals was a dogfight between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Long before Celtics Lakers, it was Celtics Sixers.
One of the most intense rivalries ever at the scene.
look, it's so funny because I just got to try to pause that right there. You can tell, that's how you can tell time. But look, check this out. Me and my manager, or me and one of my managers I work with at my job, we was talking about, like, I think matter of fact, I think it was Monday. It was either Monday or the last week, and we was talking about Larry Bird, and we were just talking about fighting in the NBA. And then he was like, "Man, you know who else low key be doing? Who did a lot of fighting?" And I was like, who? He's someone from your boy, someone's Larry Bird. He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, nah, Bird. Hey, he wouldn't back it down for nothing.
I think in terms of two clubs in professional sports and professional team sports, really wanting one another and going after one another's throats, this is definitely the ultimate.
Here's Dr. J trying to hold Bird. Bird retaliates, and there is and look at Jay hitting Bird as he's being held from behind by Barkley and Moses Malone.
There's no greater time in basketball that I've ever had other than going out and beating the 76ers.
And in the 1981 Eastern Conference Finals, they had a battle
for the
ages.
By the way, too, I do got some interviews coming. Like, I do plan on doing it. I seen you guys was really enjoying it, and everybody was saying, like, yeah, man, drop some interviews and stuff like that. Because, like I was telling you guys, I was interested in just seeing how Larry Bird thinks. I've heard so many people narrate over his videos, but I've never actually been able to sit down and listen to him talk. And I just came up with that idea a couple of days ago, but you guys just kind of gave me confirmation on that. So stay tuned. I got some of them coming too.
Called the greatest playoff series of all time.
It was the greatest series I've ever played in my opinion, maybe the greatest series leading up to a championship that two teams ever had to play.
Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics were facing the MVP of the league, Dr. J, and the Philadelphia 76ers, the team with the best record in the league. And to make matters worse, Boston had not won a single game in Philadelphia in almost 3 years because the 76ers were stacked with a team full of Hall of Famers.
Well, started out with the Hall of Famers they had over there. Started out with Dr. J, Bobby Jones. Maurice Cheeks was starting guard, became a Hall of Famer. Caldwell Jones, the Boston Strangler, Andrew Toney, Daryl Dawkins. Daryl Dawkins was like Shaq, just strong and big, and they were coached well by Billy Cunningham. That's why they were so tough.
Just 1 year earlier, a rookie Larry Bird led the Boston Celtics to the greatest single-season turnaround in NBA history. One man took the second worst team in the league from 29 wins to a 62-win championship contender overnight. Unfortunately, the Celtics lost in the conference finals to this same Philadelphia 76ers team, sparking...
Bro, that's insane even to just listen to them say that you take that's a big turnaround. Do you know how influential you have to be as a player to walk in as a rookie? Not a third year, not a fourth year vet, a rookie, new to the league, new to the team, and to be able to come in there and, command the attention from all of these people who are veterans in the game possibly, and shift it from a 19-win season to a 60-some win season. that's another fuel for the fire of why Larry Bird is not overrated.
The rivalry that would have them battling for Eastern Conference supremacy for the next 6 years. And the following season, it was looking like deja vu all over again.
So in 81, we win the first game up in Boston. Then you guys come back and, win game 2.
Irving putting the moves on McHale.
Then we play a really tight game down there in Philly.
I want to watch that interview too.
And that game is over.
We lose game 4. And I'm like, ooh, this isn't good.
6 seconds to go. Boston doesn't call time. Archibald intercepted by Bobby Jones. The game is over.
It was a tight one-possession game, and Bobby Jones does what he does, makes a great defensive play. That allowed you guys to win game 4 and go up 3-1.
The dreaded 3-1 deficit. In the history of the entire NBA, teams that go up 3-1 in a best-of-7 series are 258-13. That's a winning percentage of 95.2%. So the chances of Larry Bird and the Celtics coming back to win this series was at 4.8%. And for teams that go down 3-1 and win the championship, their chances drop down to 1.5%.
Cavaliers, dude.
So at this point, to say that Larry Bird was an underdog is an understatement.
I wasn't the type of guy to take stuff for granted. 3-1, it felt good, but it was by no means a foregone conclusion.
Desperate situation for the Celtics. Game number 5 of this Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics must win 3 straight.
In Game 5, the Celtics were losing by 10 points, with only 6 minutes left in the game. And with the season on the line,
Bird
Larry
turned up.
Bird took matters into his own hands.
Larry going to work offensively.
And that could have been a foul in today's game that we're at.
We go with their starters and Larry Bird on a turnaround, hits the jump shot. Andrew Tony's shot, no good. Bird the rebound. He's taking matters into
Dude, I love the sound of Boston Arena, man. That stuff gives me chills.
Pointed out Caldwell Jones in there. Going to the hook, Bird. He cannot be denied. Larry Bird brings the Celtics to within 1 point.
This clutch bucket was the last field goal of the game. Some defensive stops and a couple free throws later, the Celtics won Game 5 by only 2 points.
All right, here it is. 1 second. Boston up by 2. Trying to go to Philly for Game 6. Intercepted. It's over. The Boston Celtics are down by 6 points with 1:28 to go.
Bro, and it's like
Came back and
one of the reasons why I do love Bird, but a lot of the older style stuff, because it's like, look at the type of hustle that this dude plays with. Like, I'm talking about all over the court, affecting the game in so many different shape, forms, and fashion, man. He don't have to just score to affect the game, and not affect the game, but be able to affect it in a tremendous standpoint. But a lot of the newer style players, they just don't have that same hunger, that same will to win. It's like with this dude here, it's like his will to win it overseeded everything, every obstacle that could have potentially been against him. It's like he was like, man, you know what? No matter what, I might not be the fastest, might not be the strongest, but I guarantee you, you ain't gonna beat. You ain't gonna outwork. I'm willing to come out here and I'm willing to leave it all and die on this court each and every night. And that's the type of passion that he played with. And I feel like that's why he's so electrifying of a person, of an athlete.
You had one to play with, but coming into Philly, it's like, man, I have to feel good coming home.
Coming down to your place, I remember, this is it. I mean, game 6, we're going back to Philly.
Oh, it doesn't take long to top this rivalry. I think it's one of the best rivalries in sports. You go out there to compete, and you got to play so well to win it. It just demands a lot out of you. And when the series is over with, I think both teams can look back and say, hey, we gave it our best shot.
they know that they haven't won in 10 tries here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and that's why they want to go back to Boston, winning this afternoon.
We got into a dogfight. Back and forth.
Back and forth, exactly.
Back and forth.
The Celtics trying to break the jinx here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. They need to do it to force Game 7.
By the second half of Game 6, the Celtics were losing by as much as 17 points. More Larry Bird heroics turned this game into one of the greatest playoff games in NBA history, because Boston stormed back and were willing to fight.
Let me ask you guys something. In the previous video, I think it was the greatest Larry Bird story ever told, right? So I told you guys, I was like, bro, I think that it's like every time I think that I've seen it or heard it, it's something else that comes out and says, well, this was his best game, this was his best performance, this is his best. How many of these magnificent performances do we have of Bird? Because it's like every time I think, okay, man, I think I might have reacted to all of the games that he was like, but he was good in all games, obviously. But I'm talking about the games where you really looked at him and was like, man, this guy's like Superman. Like it seemed like every video I look up, they saying this was his greatest game. Like, you know, Bird, you know, he was a man amongst boys. Physical basketball, man. Oh my God. Ooh, I did not know that happened.
I got knocked into the crowd. And when I got knocked into the crowd, some guy like was saying something to me like, get back in the damn game. So I jumped over the photographer, and then it registered in my mind what he had said. As soon as he said that, I re-jumped back over and went into the stands with a flying forearm. At that time, it galvanized all our players together. It could have been all these people against us, and we were going to go down together. And at that particular point, the great Dave Zinkoff, who was the public address announcer for Philadelphia, comes on when we're down by 17 and says to the crowd, tickets go on sale for the championship game right after this. Oh my God, everybody looked at each other and went, are you kidding me? This guy already said it. And then it was on like popcorn then. We were down 17, almost before half. By the time we had our foot square in their behind after they were doing the celebration, we were down by only 5 points.
McHale, Bird, Maxwell, ML Carr, Archibald, looping shot by Larry Bird. 23 points for Larry Bird, and the Celtics lead 84-83.
As Larry Bird leads the comeback with 25 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists, he once again hits the last clutch bucket of the game.
Bird out to Tiny with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Bobby Jones is on a defensive switch. Collins on Bird. Larry Bird shot.
This shot put the Celtics up by 3 points. One defensive stop and a pair of free throws later helps Boston finally win a game in Philadelphia. Something they hadn't done in nearly 3.
That announcer needs to be, well, should have been smacked. That's almost the equivalent to what I was hearing. I heard, so I don't know if it's true or not. They said that the guy who designed Titanic came out and said that this ship is so, you know, structurally sound that not even God himself can sink it. And it's like you know, and that's like when you go on and you say that to where he can hear it.
Years.
Dawkins and Caldwell Jones, and that'll do it again for Boston. Three teams have come out from a 3-1 deficit to force a 7-win.
You don't give him no added fuel, man.
The Boston Celtics have defeated the Philadelphia 76ers.
And after that game, Kevin McHale called what happened next his most favorite moment of his entire career.
Kevin McHale, what is your favorite NBA moment?
Ooh, I would say 81, Game 6. We were in Philly, and we were down 3-1, and we won Game 5 in Boston to go 3-2. And we beat them on a last-second play where Tony's driving in, and we get a block, got my hand on the ball, and we win the game. And go back to Boston, and there's people like I didn't realize that, because I'm new to Boston. It's my first year being out there. I'd come from northern Minnesota, small mining town, played at the University of Minnesota. I didn't realize that Boston and Philadelphia hated each other sports-wise. I mean, hated each other. So we get back that night, and there's people. There's a crowd. I mean, there's people at the airport. And this game, we haven't won anything. We still have Game 7 to go. And they were the whole city was like electric. And then Game 7 in the arena, when I walked in,
I got chills because the people were all standing up cheering. 18 minutes before the game, we went out to warm up. There wasn't an empty seat, and they stood the whole game and cheered and yelled and screamed. No dancing girls, no nothing. An organ going, and it was the most unbelievable environment you've ever seen. The building shook.
I was at that game.
I believe
was
it.
at all those
I
games.
believe it, bro.
Game 7, to this day, is the best basketball game I've ever been to. That was the only game I've been to. I've written about this, where the refs were just like, guys, you settle this. Guys are on the floor every play. There's 3 guys getting knocked out. It's like a rugby match. And I've just never seen a game like that. I don't think that game would happen again. There would have been about 20 flagrant fouls.
Man, oh yeah, absolutely.
The 76ers, they have to be wondering about the fact that they had the Celtics put away.
I'm gonna have to go react to this full series. Like, I didn't realize it was this insane, man.
Not so much saying you gotta win 3 games, but to tell your team they have to beat us one more time.
That was the championship game. Whoever won that series between Philly and Boston, and Philly being up 3-1, and you getting them back to Boston for game 7, whoever won that particular night, we knew that either one of those teams, Philly or Boston, could beat Houston. So that was the championship game that particular night.
Chris Moore, this is from the corner. Larry Bird, the rebound. That's what Boston has done to Philadelphia. Dominate the offensive board, Harris. Knowing your Dawson's what he did to him like this is Larry Bird.
Bird be playing hard, man. Dude, Boston arena gives me chills, bro. Just hearing how crazy they go whenever Bird, makes a play.
Just like the previous 4 games, Game 7 went down to the wire. And with a tie game with 1 minute left on the clock, Larry Bird does what Larry Bird did the entire series in the clutch.
Come through.
Setting up for something. Fakes. Throw into Dawkins. Double team. Dawkins goes in. Misses. Here comes Bird out of the pack.
Bird coming to the left. Stop and pop off the glass. Boston leads 91-89. 1 second left. And the pass. Hits the top of the backboard. And it's over. They came from 3 or 1 down. And they have won the series. It's all over.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
This game,
bro, I wish I could see, bro. I got chills right now.
Bird versus a team with 3 Hall of Famers on their roster pull off the greatest 3-1 comeback of all time, because the 1981 Eastern Conference Finals remains the only series in NBA history in which 5 games were decided by 2 points or less. The Celtics won Game 5 by 2 points, Game 6 by 2 points, and Game 7 by 1 point. Each game literally went down to the last second.
And they was getting the break beat off of them in the last game.
Because we did
what was it, the game 6?
2-point games. It just seemed like every time you looked up the clock, we had a 1-point lead, and there was 1 second on the clock, and they had the ball. It was them type of games where all the emotion, all the adrenaline, and everybody was just flowing, and everything was just going to perfection at the end of the game. That was probably the best games I ever played in my life. It was a 7-game series, and every one of them was just full of excitement.
Only 4 teams in the history of the NBA have ever come back from down 3-1 in a series and went on to win the championship. Bill Russell's Boston Celtics in 1968, Hakeem Olajuwon's Houston Rockets in 1995, LeBron James's Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016, and Larry Bird's Boston Celtics in 1981. Yes, Larry Bird in only his 2nd NBA season won his first championship that year. So if anybody ever tries to convince you that a great player couldn't win a title in his first 5 years because he was too young or didn't have enough help, tell him that Larry Bird took the 2nd worst team in the league to an NBA title in only 2 years. No excuses.
Man, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, when I be looking at y'all in the comments and I see how y'all be riding for Bird, and it's like the more I watch him, the more respect I gain. Because that was my thing. I was always saying some of these players, they were too young, and seeing that he did that in only his 2nd season up against a team that he was up against just shows you, and it solidifies why, in my opinion, Bird is not overrated. But some people, their ears are closed to anything that they don't want to hear, so it ain't no point even trying to convince them. We know what's what, so that's all that matters. But as you can see, man, that is it for this video. If you did enjoy this video, like always, do me a big favor. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, comment down below Team Bird. Make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure you got my notifications on. That way you be notified every time I drop. Because just like I always say, just like the GOAT, Drizzy Drake, I got these videos coming back to back. I'll see y'all in the next video.